Welcome to the ultimate backstage pass, the pulsating heart of the high school sports universe. Get ready to rock with the gang from the Corner to Corner podcast as they take their sports obsessions to new heights. Meet the dream team, Sean Kiper, Neil Payne, Adam Muncy, Wes Crouch, and Daron Stevens as they unpack the secrets, emotions, and triumphs that light up our local sports heroes. Whether you're gearing up for a game or unleashing cheers from the stands, get ready for an exclusive scoop that'll knock your socks off. It's showtime!
If you've been called to the principal's office, it's more formal than anything you'll do here, I promise.
Oh, 100%. We're live, guys.
You're good. Oh, well. I wasn't looking.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the From Corner to Corner Coaches Corner presented by the WinCity Sports Cards. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you are listening, watching, please be sure to follow us and rate and review the show. Before you get started, let's take a moment to share this out to your friends. I mean, they're all so nervous as it is, so we just get us a couple more thousand people watching while we're at it. So let's take a moment to thank all of our sponsors: Community Trust Bank, Chemsoft, WinCity Sports Cards, 22 Sweet Treats, CRC Roofing and Renovations, Kentucky Realty Group, Jacobs Auto Body, Kelwell Commissary and Simply Secure, and Brent Wehunt, Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg. Tonight we have with us the MoCo Cheer team, with coaches Chris and Amy Shaw, Mackenzie Fryman, and then seniors Macy Shaw, Kelsey Donathan, and Kat Parks. Woo! Kelsey's so nervous.
Kelsey's really nervous.
Are you going to at least talk?
Yes, I'll
Okay,
talk.
Good. We've had some on here that didn't even want to talk. They just
They're
like,
completely
I
clamped
can't
up.
talk. I can't say nothing. So, well, Coach, thanks all to you to wrapping up practice and then running over here and joining us, and it's celebration again, going back to nationals, getting ready for state. Is that right? Did I? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the nationals and how that came about.
Sure. This past Saturday before last, we competed in the UCA Bluegrass Regional Competition. And then you have to get a bid at that competition in order to advance to nationals. And we've been working really hard. We've already competed at KHSAA region, did really well there, and advanced to state through there. And the girls did amazing. We had it was almost like a repeat, almost from last year. At the very last second, something we never had before. Dropped a stunt, and we know that that's always hard to overcome. However, even with that, we got a bid, and with that, we got fourth out of 13. Mm-hmm. Fourth out of 13 teams. They did amazing. And if you went back, we were talking tonight, and just looking at the score sheets, and that deduction, did not have happened, we would have been at the top. So there's an awesome team with a lot of work, and we're looking forward to going to nationals, and nationals is in February.
So I guess I'm curious, like how is it separate, or why is it separate? Because you're going to state. You would think that state would be tied to the national part of it. Is it two completely different things?
It is two completely different things, and each state gets to govern how they do their own thing, and that's why nationals, it doesn't just go from region to state to nationals. So nationals is an awesome thing to get to, but there are some states, I know Georgia, and there's maybe a couple more that are not sanctioned to go to a UCA nationals. So they do everything within their state. We've got a region competition, and then you advance to a state competition. And as far as KHSAA is concerned, that's where it is.
So if you win state, that's it.
Yeah.
So nationals completely separate. Okay. Well, that makes a lot more sense, because I was like, because when he told me that he invited you on, and he's like, it's right before state, and then the other day he texted, he goes, they're going to nationals. I'm like, I thought we were doing this before they went to state, so I was a little confused. But it makes sense. It makes sense.
So talk a little about this team. You lost a lot of seniors last year. You've got fewer this time than you had last time when you were on the show. How's this team been this year?
Last year, this room was full.
It was
That's what I
full.
was telling them, we had
The whole team was in here.
We had 9 seniors last year, an awesome bunch of girls who've been with us and worked hard. And this time around last year, we qualified for nationals, and we're excited. We hadn't been for several years through COVID and all that era, but we moved past it. We were excited, and here we are. We do have 3 seniors with us, and they're very committed and dedicated to this team. We entered this year kind of not knowing kind of what to expect. We thought maybe it'd be a rebuilding year. However, the girls that we added onto the team, they didn't have a lot of the new ones didn't have a school cheer background, but they had an all-star background. So at least they had like the skills, and we didn't have to teach everything. So they came in, and they were a little bit older. You know, usually when you get new girls to the team, they're all 8th grade and freshmen. This group was the new girls who came in were a lot of juniors and sophomores. So we kind of picked up where we left off, and that's a huge blessing because we didn't have to go back. You know, we kind of just took where we were last year, and they kind of knew the new ones coming in knew where we left off last year. Of course, those who had cheered before knew, and we just kind of took it and ran with it and told them that, you know, this is the expectation. We're not going to go back. We're going to pick up from here. So, and they've done that. It's an awesome group. Not all new teams that come together mesh. This group meshed quickly. So we're very proud of them and looking forward to more success.
So, girls, want to talk to you all real quick. Coach mentioned, you know, at regional, something that separates cheer from all these other sports. If things are not going your way in basketball, you can call timeout and correct things. Football, same way, you can call timeout. Baseball, time. Cheerleading, if a stunt falls, you just got to be mentally tough to power through that. How has that been, like, growing in your mental toughness along with your physical toughness getting through this season? I'll start with you.
Well, if something like that happens, you just have to go with it with a smile on your face. You just have to suffer through it and smile and go on.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it is your face, like how you recover in that routine. A judge can look at it and be like, ooh, bad fall, but then you can honestly maybe make it a little better with how you recover. So your face says a lot with that.
Definitely your face. Like we had our competition a couple weekends ago. That stunt fell, and I just sat there and waved and smiled and just went on about my day. So
They did what they were coached to do. You know, as I was like, oh, my heart sunk. I was like, are you kidding me? However, they did exactly what we've coached them to do. That fell for whatever reason. They brought it down. They just got up and went on about their, you know, like it was meant to happen.
Right.
Cussing underneath their breath and everything.
Well, a lot of the times, if you are doing that spiriting and things, they don't even catch the fall. They might not even catch, hey, did that stunt go up? Yeah, but, you know, sometimes they don't catch that stuff because they are doing so well with hiding it. Hey, that didn't go, but they would never know that what was supposed to be there.
And you said it very well when you said there is a level of mental stability and a level of mental toughness that this group of girls, that when you are a cheerleader, you do have to maintain. And that is a skill that we do work on, especially in practice. If we're running a routine full out and something falls, we coach how to handle that
And go on.
that obstacle or that fall or that blunder, and we just show them this is what it takes to move through that, and they rise up and they handle that very, very well.
One thing that just amazes me is you work all year for what, 2-minute routine, or is it 2.5?
It's 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Like, coming from West Virginia side thing, my mom was a cheer coach. She was a cheerleader, all that stuff. So, I mean, I know the work she put in. I know the work you all put in. I just couldn't imagine. Because, once again, basketball and football, you're practicing for 1-2 games a week. You get one shot at cheerleading, and I commend you all for being able to do it and just getting out there and doing all those flips and stuff. I can't do any of that. Wes, can you?
No.
And you have to think about it, though. You know, it's 3 minutes, and you think, man, that's fast. But I bet on the floor, it's like, oh, my God, this is taking forever.
It definitely is.
I got it. Just 30 more seconds, 30 more seconds.
Well, you think about the intensity of what that 3 minutes encompasses. And you said it a minute ago as well, if you're tired, you can pull from a bench.
Yep.
There is not a bench in
Right.
cheer. These girls go and go hard, and we condition for 3 minutes of nonstop energy, full on giving everything they've got to be champions, and you've got 3 minutes to do that in.
We've also talked right along with that is, Macy has been cheering since she was 3 years old. So in her life, that's all she's done is competitive cheer.
Kind of born into it, though,
Yeah,
right?
she didn't have a choice. She didn't have a choice. But the new girls who come in who maybe have one or two, these gals, Kat and Kelsey, came in a little bit later, and they decided in high school they wanted to cheer, but that we tell all of them, you have to rise to the level of that senior, that veteran. We're only as strong as our weakest link.
Right.
So they buy into that. We don't give them a choice. They have to buy into it, right? They don't have a choice, but they do, and that's one thing is that it builds that character and it makes them tough.
So is everybody in the routine, all of the cheerleaders? So you have to build the routine based on the amount of people that you
Right.
have
The
and
different
stuff like that.
divisions.
You put your good jumpers in the front, your weaker jumpers in the back.
So how many total do you have on the team this year?
Well, we have 19. We have 19.
Is that pretty average?
Yeah, give or take. Some years I think last year we had 23. So around that. A squad can go up to 33, 34, which would be super large. That's a lot. That's a lot. There's a lot. See, Wes was our booster guy forever. He could tell you, because not only is that a lot to maintain and to manage, it's also, if you're going to nationals, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a whole lot of money. But yeah, it's a good number. It's a good number to work with.
Wes, how you feeling not having to stress about those nationals this
I
year?
mean, listen, I sort of miss it.
Well,
to
I
a
mean,
certain
going
extent.
to
It's that
Florida-
time of the year. It's kind of like, what am I supposed to do? I hope they got registered. How are they going to get down there?
Going to Florida in February is also a plus,
It's
right?
not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. When you're down there and it's 75, 80 degrees and it's like it is here, it's like,
Yep.
Could be
guess I'm not
worse,
doing
right?
that this year. Unless we just book it and just go.
Just go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure y'all would love the
I
support.
mean, streaming
right?
it live
Always
was
take cheerleaders to cheer on the cheerleaders.
Somebody's got to sit there.
when we streamed it live. It was one of our most watched live streams we've ever.
Yeah,
we've
when you
ever had.
finally figured out how to turn the phone.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
2 minutes and 20 seconds into the 3-minute routine.
So you all start. I mean, cheerleaders are 365 days a year. You all might get a couple weeks off around May or something like that, but after that, I know that once the team gets together, coaches are ready to go. You all do some conditioning, but from June, July, all the way to mid-September, 1st of October, it's just regular practice. You do a little conditioning in the summers, whatnot, but October 1st hits. You all know that you all can tell that there's a change in practice. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So what's it been like from October 1st till now? And then, do you look forward to, not only are you going to be practicing, but you're getting ready to start basketball season, which is a lot more than football season.
Well, honestly, the change gets very tense very fast. As soon as that month hits, it's like, oh gosh, every small detail is called out.
Right.
You might shed a few tears. Your nerves are shot. It's crazy. But honestly, that is probably my favorite time of the year because it's so, hardcore, but, it's so fun just to be in an environment, especially with the team this year. We all work together. So this year it was very different, and I enjoyed it a lot more than I have.
Very intense time of the year. I love it. Me personally, I'm a very competitive person, and all around. I enjoy it with my team that I'm with this year.
So, obviously you're cheering on the sidelines for football and basketball, but at the same time you're learning this routine, right? So like, is there a lot of practice time for sideline stuff, or is the majority of the practice just the competitions?
We have to make the time. Last year, the benefit from having the 9 seniors last year and having a veterans, we didn't have to spend nearly as much time on like sideline cheers and those types of things. This year, we have had to spend a little more time on that because we have had so many new ones. Matter of fact, that was a discussion amongst the coaches. We've got to get ready for basketball season at some point. We're going to have to make time because, as Wesley said, basketball more so than football. There's so many more elements and things, and organization of cheering a basketball game. And we compete in game too for that, and we've won for the past numerous years. So we want to keep that tradition alive. But usually by the time, and Wesley's right, by the time October wraps around, we're able to focus solely on the routine. And up until now, we're going, like I said, we're going to cut out some time for prepare for some basketball, but we're nothing but competition minded right now.
Yeah.
And it helps we have a lot of vets too. Like, yes, we lost a lot of seniors, but like we have a lot of vets who or can pick up like, hey, we did this for basketball last year, and they can really help out the ones who are still upperclassmen to just get in that routine.
Nice.
So, Kelsey, I know when I first known you, you were a middle school basketball player.
Yep.
And then you show up on the high school cheerleading team. Anybody else multi-sport athlete or just cheer?
I did softball before.
And track.
Yeah, I've done track last year. Yeah.
I dive, sort of. Like, I don't compete this
Not
year.
gonna lie, I thought you said I died. It took me a second to realize what you said.
She dives. She frolics in the pool. You know.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Dive and cheer.
So what is it? How many home games? Basketball 30.
Between boys and girls, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's like 30-something games. So is that? Do you hit all those?
We don't cheer all of those games. We cheer as many home games as we possibly can, pending our comp season, because we still have to carve out time to practice and make sure that we are prepared at a competitive level for those. But every home game that we possibly can cheer, we do. And we go to the district away games and all tournament games as well. So, and our schedule's been a little bit rigorous with our competition schedule has been more rigorous than it has in the past. We started with our KHSA region. 2 weeks later was our UCA Bluegrass National Qualifier. And then 3 weeks later, we compete in state. So it's been, we've been very competent in the heat of competition this fall. So it's been busy. That's why we are a little bit behind on preparing for basketball season, but we're getting ready to have a little bit of time to carve out to focus on that. So
good part
it's
about
busy.
Home basketball season doesn't start till the 10th.
December 10th, first home
so
game. Yeah.
we got a little bit more time,
Yes,
right?
we do.
Let's take a quick commercial. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We're here with MoCo Cheer.
You're listening to the From Corner to Corner podcast, brought to you by Jacob's Auto Body Repair and Paint Shop is the ultimate pit stop for all your car needs. With a combined experience older than your grandma's secret cake recipe, we're here to fix you up. Drop us a line at 859-274-7425 for a free quote and let us get those wheels rolling. Our yearly growth is like a high-speed chase, fueled by the love and trust of Mount Sterling and beyond. It's all hugs and high fives to our amazing crew of customers for keeping our engines revving with success. Special thanks to Brent Wehunt, Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg, the sponsor of our Athlete of the Month program in Menifee County. Special thanks to Kim Soft, our title sponsor of the From Corner to Corner Athlete of the Week in Montgomery County. Kimsoft, eco-friendly industrial services, is your go-to squad for all things squeaky clean in the commercial and industrial world. Based in the heart of Mount Sterling, they are your friendly cleaning wizards, serving up sparkling magic in areas like Lexington, Louisville, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Huntington, and beyond. Let's turn that grime into shine. You're listening to the From Corner to Corner.
All right, we are back with MoCo Cheer seniors and coaches.
The light didn't go green. I was waiting on the light.
The finger is the way that so you know, we were talking a little bit there right before we went to break about the competition season versus, you know, basketball and football season. And, you know, probably a lot of people don't realize that cheer is an actual competitive sport. It is not just guys and gals standing on the sideline cheering, right? And so
Right.
You said it correctly. Sport.
Yes.
Sport.
well, I mean, if there's
Not-
a competition and a trophy that can be presented, it kind of has to be a sport, right?
It's
I mean,
not
sport.
crowd support. It's a sport.
Well, it is crowd support
No,
on
just
one
don't
side of the fence.
leave crowd support out of the way.
You look like you've had this conversation.
I have
a
had
few
this
times.
conversation a couple times.
If you
Sport.
want me to keep going, I can get him into a rant.
Nope, I'll just go that's as far as I'll go.
But Sean, you mentioned something right there, like competition. How do you all like get a good grasp on the judges? Because other teams are competing when you all are. So how you know like whether they're looking for tumbling, stunts, how the difficulty level, facials?
The
How
score
y'all
sheets,
understand
like,
that?
broke up into sections. So, like, for example, when we do game day, it's broke up into band chant, sideline, cheer, and fight song. So there are certain judges that are, like, watching those specific parts of the routine. But as well as, like, you have judges who are looking at, like, sharpness. They're looking at technique. They're looking at just overall, like, body awareness and your crowd effective. That's a really big thing. Like, we're doing really well with this. We're very crowd effective. Like, a lot of people want to watch us, and that's a very big thing that we're very proud of. And these seniors, I mean, the whole team, like, it's just very engaging. I mean, Chris and Amy know, and even Ashley, like, we know that everybody's eyes draw to them. So, like, for the judges' perspective, like, breaking that up into those parts, you know, they really have to make sure, especially this year, finding things that, you know, like, that was really good. Like, we got really great judges' comments for Bluegrass, and those are, like, top UCA regional judges. So that's something we're very proud of.
The more judges, the better. The less judges, the better.
It just depends, really.
Well, and really, I think if it's experienced judges,
Yeah.
UCA will always provide very experienced judges.
Right.
KHSAA, you know, that some, and they all go to training, and you
Sure.
hope but it's also a lot of bias. I think, especially when you are at a regional level for KHSAA, and but the great thing about with UCA, the consistency of judging, and I would think in that case the more judges, because they're just, each judge is focused on one thing.
Yeah.
You know, I've judged in years past, and when say you have 3 judges and you're trying to watch it all, well, that's a lot different. And you can kind of get an overall feel, but when you've got someone who's just watching one particular aspect of that routine, and that's all they're looking at. They're a lot more accurate.
So how many typical judges would there be on something like that?
For the nationals panel, there's probably a good 15 to 20.
Wow.
That's just nationals. But I would say what region, there's probably about 5 to 6, and then state will probably be about 6 to 12, depending.
Now, is it throw out high score, throw out low score, take an average, or all 6 scores go into effect?
They all go in. Yeah.
There's an average.
Yeah.
You take the judges' score in the categories, and those are compiled into one score, and then the scores are ranked from highest to lowest, and that's how you find your placement of where you fit with the group that you've competed within.
And orders everything, right?
Orders
You don't want to go
everything.
first.
You don't typically want to go first. However, oftentimes when you go first, if you're solid,
You set the
you
bar.
set the bar high,
Yeah.
and everybody has to rise to meet you. So honestly, it doesn't really matter, but definitely sitting in the middle is we find that's a good spot for us often.
What?
It gives you the opportunity to see what has been in front, and you're like, okay, I think we can compete with these, or maybe. Do you have the ability to make a tweak in a situation like that, or is there a tweak to be made?
Well, there is following competition, but not in the heat.
We try
of
not to change
competition.
too much at the last second because it really messes with some teenage minds.
If you don't screw up on this one, we're going to nail this. No, I'm just kidding. You don't want to do that for sure.
You've done this long enough. When you walk into a competition, there's not officials or refs that normally Sean would scream at on the daily basis on the game.
They're probably, these judges are trained in the same school as the refs.
No.
Sean be like, but could you believe he deducted us on facials?
He would.
100% I would do
He would. But you've been around long enough. You know a lot of these judges. Is there a you walk in and go, okay, I need to have a powwow with the group to say certain things. You need to make sure you're doing certain things.
We've just learned. We know what it takes to win.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, especially like local, if we regional judges, be it in game and I always tell them, I said, do you look where you'll know they've got clipboards. You can tell where those judges are. And I said, you make sure that you're projecting. The great thing last year was one of the girls, I told them, they're right in front of you. No pressure, but there was a younger girl, and I said, you're going to have to turn it on tonight. And she did. She ended up getting all region cheerleader last year. And I was like, you did it. You did it. But really, it's just that we know what it takes to make a solid routine, and we've built a legacy here. We've won year after year after year and done so well, and the girls have all grown in the program, and the program's grown. But I was sharing with them tonight. I said, Montgomery County Cheer has been runner-up at the state like 3 times in its history. The last time was in 2015. Mm-hmm. We flirted around with winning state a lot. I said, it's anybody's game when you get there. It's not, it's not. It used to be, years ago, if you were Dunbar, they're going to win it all. There was no question. But it really right now at this level, and that's what we saw in our division Bluegrass a couple weeks ago, we had one of the highest scores out of every category and out of every division. And I said, now look, if you can do this and come in here, I said, what would happen? We had that discussion. What would happen if we didn't have that fall? Mm-hmm. You would have won. Our choreographer is she's amazing. She's out toward the West Coast, and she's an amazing choreographer. And one of the things that she said, she didn't ask about placement or where you play. She said, well, what was your score? Because again, like Mackenzie was saying, the higher you get, they understand the value of that number of that score. And when we told them our score, she was like, "Oh, you are fine. You're definitely going to get a bid. I can already tell you that." But we're flirting around at the top, and so what we're doing is just trying to shore up the loose ends and those little things. Like the girl said, you don't want them to, your face tells it all in cheerleading, and if their face doesn't show stress or distress, you're good. We dropped a stunt, they just got right back up and smiled, and they did exactly like they were trained. And so yes, that's what we're teaching, because that's what judges are looking for. They're looking for those little things.
So girls, what got you all into cheer? I know you were doing it from the time you could walk, but the other two.
Well, a lot of my friends were doing it, and then one day, it was the last day of tryouts, I think, and Presley was like, "Oh, I got tryouts today," and I was like, "Cheer tryouts are right now?" So I just tried out, and it was kind of more like just off the whim kind of thing, but I knew I probably had some potential there, so.
It kind of just happened. I broke my foot at a basketball game one time, and I originally was supposed to go cheer the next night for Amy and Chris, and that kind of didn't happen, and then we kind of met at TK's, and I started tumbling, and then it kind of just all fell into place, and I tried out, and here I am.
You're not getting out of it.
No. Been cheering since I was 3, and I only started cheer because my sister was cheering, but it just kind of, it's been with me ever since. So.
Coaches, y'all ain't getting out of it either. How'd y'all get involved in cheer?
So I've cheered since I was probably about 3. I work for UCA. I'm a UCA instructor for the state. I recently just went on a trip for UCA to represent the state for cheerleading. I cheered at the University of Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky University. And through UCA, I met these lovely people, and here I am. And I'm from Fleming County. And when I went to Fleming County, I always looked up to Montgomery County. I mean, me and my friend would get in the student section and do this. We loved Montgomery County, and I got the chance to be their UCA staffer, and I'm really lucky that I'm here. I got a job. I work at Mapleton. I'm a kindergarten teacher. It just really fell into place for me, and I couldn't be happier to be with these seniors. And the seniors from last year was my first senior class, and it makes you feel a little old. But I could never do what I used to, but cheerleading has really done a lot for me. So.
Well, and being a kindergarten teacher, you're getting the opportunity to give impact to kids from the start to the end, right? I mean, you got seniors here, but you're teaching kindergartners.
It's a good balance.
They are the most impressionable kids, at that age. So.
And what's really good is youth league cheer. I mean, we talked about it off air a little bit. I'm just throwing it out there.
I do. I really love seeing the growth, especially from obviously I knew Macy at an older age, but her parents are alone. Just seeing the growth that she's had, becoming a little girl with a bow and a cheer shoe, and now a leader on this team. And it's just probably a really heartfelt moment. And I hope to do that, for a long time. I just think it's great. You're building these strong, independent women.
Macy was born, and they're our next little cheerleader.
Quite literally.
So what I heard just now is, Chris, you and Amy decided, hey, we're going to get one of these UCA officials on our side, and we're just going to back channel this thing.
We know what we're doing.
Right.
We know what we're doing. Absolutely. She's an asset, and Ashley Thompson's also an assistant coach. She's been doing it for forever. And there's actually at cheer tonight, her daughter also does an all-star team in Lexington, so that's where they went after our practice. But we have a lot of experience, and I had cheer. Actually, Montgomery County used to have a co-ed cheer team, and I had some friends who cheered on that team, and back in the early '90s, and I got involved in it that way, and never done it. It was all new to me. I knew nothing, but it stuck with me, and I had thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved my teammates. I loved the cheer, competing, and I had an awesome coach. Jennifer Ratliff was my coach. But then I was an assistant coach and volunteer coach and for years and years here. Amy and I got married, and then about 2009 or ish, I think it was 2009, I thought, well, we're done. We got 5th in the state that year, and I thought, well, that's good. That's a good deal. Let's get out. And we had small children, and like Macy, we had to take care of little Macy. And then 2014, the head coach at Montgomery County got really ill, and I got a phone call one afternoon, and they said, hey, we need a head coach. We need you to come back. And I thought, well, there's no way. I said, well, let me go home and talk to my wife. And I thought she'd say, no way, no way. And
hoping she said
that
no.
was the test. And I thought, well, this is going to be. I went home before I even got home, and she was like, well, no, yeah, you need to do that. And I thought, what? Have you lost your mind? But she's like, we got 2 girls coming up, and she's right. I've been around cheerleading, and sadly, like a lot of sports, there are people who are ready to coach a team, because there's a lot more than just the skill aspect of the team. You're dealing with a bunch of teenage girls. And their parents and the program and how to conduct it and what needs to be done and when needs and who you've got connections with people. Long story short, we came back in 2014-15, took a team that thought they were done. That team got runner-up at state that year. But there's something very special about this program, and we've been in it ever since, and we've not turned back. But it's a very successful program, but it's not successful accidentally. I look sometimes at our neighbor at George Rogers Clark, and they had a coach who was there for like 35 years or so. Ruth was the coach there for a long time, and they had tremendous success. They won state, I don't know how many times, more than I can count. But a lot of that is the consistency with the leadership, and that your expectations don't change, and people understand what's expected, and then they come into the program. And that's why you can get new girls who maybe not have cheered since they were 3 years old, but they can catch on. They say, oh, this is the expectation here. This is what we do. This is who we are. It doesn't matter where we go, and these girls can tell you, it doesn't matter what gymnasium we walk in or what competition floor. I always tell them, you don't come in, Montgomery County never comes in as an underdog. You all always come in. I said, and I always tell them, like, you own the place. Because I know sometimes you'll get a calf in a new gate kind of feel if it's just a new location. I say, no, we don't ever come in like that. But it's an awesome group, and it's a blessing to be a part of. And Amy, she's kind of like Macy. She coached McNabb for years. So I'll let you talk about that.
So I started cheering when I was very young as well. I was in 3rd grade, and I never really saw myself as a cheer coach, because just because you're an athlete doesn't mean you're qualified to be a coach.
Right.
There are a lot of people that can play the sport, but they can't coach the sport. And so, Chris came home one day after he had assumed the head coach position for Montgomery County, and the key to any successful program is the feeder. And so McNabb at that time didn't have a coach, and there had been a lot of transition with McNabb's cheer program, and the girls that Chris had taken on, he spent a lot of time getting them prepared just to be able to cheer ball game at the high school level. And really, it shouldn't be like that. You should be able to cheer high school and really have the fundamentals and the basics, and they didn't. And so he came home one day and he said, you've got to coach McNabb. I need you to coach McNabb. We've got to build this program. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need to do, is one additional task in my day. And so but again, knowing that we had a daughter that was going to be attending McNabb in the future, and our daughter that was in the high school squad at the time, I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do this for. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this to be able to build this program. And so the very first year, there were 4 cheerleaders that didn't last 2 weeks. And so at that point, I just recruited. I just started getting these girls in uniforms, and the first year was a building year. But then within the next couple of years, took the program and won 2 state titles back to back, which was huge for McNabb. We competed against every middle school in the state of Kentucky. I think that day in particular, we competed against 16 teams, if I'm correct, Wesley, and never anticipated winning 1 title, let alone 2 back-to-back titles. And so it was very rewarding to be able to build that team and to be able to send those young athletes into a successful high school program to be able to cheer at the next level. And so the great thing about our relationship as a husband and wife is we're not just husband and wife. We're a team. And we work very well together, and we support each other. Don't get me wrong, we go head to head too, but our goal is for the success and the dynasty and the legacy that we have built through Montgomery County Cheer.
Don't leave out that you came in 10th in the state, in the nation.
We did, yes, we did.
And is that the first time McNabb's ever gone to nationals?
As far as
They went years ago. It'd been years and years and
Gotcha.
years ago. I know
Gotcha.
McNabb went. I think when Brandy Kratzer
Okay.
was in middle school. So it's been a few years ago.
Gotcha.
Was those girls the last year's senior class?
No, actually, Macy will be the last. Macy, will you be the last member of that team? Macy will be the last member of that team that was part of that double state title.
Lady Ledford.
And yeah, Lainey. Yeah, you are correct.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Lainey's a senior.
she is a
Why
senior.
is she not here?
Well, she's got so many obligations.
She is in
We're
the
just
she is in the
happy when we
play.
get
She
Lainey.
is.
Yeah, so I
She
and
had
I
dive
Lainey.
tonight as well, so
Gotcha.
she's got a lot of
Gotcha.
irons in the fire.
I keep forgetting that here in Kentucky, swim and dive is a winter sport.
It is a
because
winter
it makes
sport.
perfect sense to be a winter sport. We got a red light. Send us to commercial.
Oh, I didn't know you turned it off. Good. Well, we'll just go to commercial, and we'll come right back
And Wes
in
will
just a
forget his
second.
question.
Oh, 100%.
Feeling jittery about property? Fret not. Let Kentucky Realty Group help. Whether you're gearing up to buy, sell, or just need some guidance, let their expert team help sprinkle in some magic on your experience. From cozy condos to grand mansions, they've got your back. Seeking a fixer-upper, a slice of luxury, maybe a peaceful rural retreat, they've got the keys to all those kingdoms. Dive into their treasure trove of listings and let the property adventure begin. You're listening to the From Corner to Corner podcast, brought to you by Tutu's Sweet Treats, where you can treat yourself to our divine lineup of desserts that will dance on your taste buds. Whether you fancy gooey chocolate brownies or our deliciously moist cakes, we've got a treat for every sweet tooth out there. Give yourself a sweet escape and take a bite of pure bliss. It's time to surrender to your cravings, grab a fork, and dig into our homemade goodies for a dose of sugary happiness.
That helps.
We're back.
Oh, and we're back. Yeah, I 100% forgot my question.
You want me to go? Maybe you'll remember.
Wes shows his age every week.
So there is going to be a lot of. You've already done a lot of competition. There's still going to be a lot of competition coming up. Do you all look forward to state more? I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand UCA is in Florida. That's always a perk. But do you all look forward to cheering for a state title or cheering for a UCA title?
Yes.
That's a good question. That's a good answer.
I feel like we have huge potential for a state title. Coming fourth in UCA was like a big wake-up call because we had a few mistakes, but look at what we did, even with those mistakes. So I feel like we can really push forward to it and potentially get a state title.
Honestly, I do not care which one I get. I
Yeah.
think they're both outstanding,
Right.
and I am so excited for
Just
both
put a
of them.
ring on the finger, right?
Yeah.
We can do anything we want to do. We can do anything.
Where's
we
your
wanna do.
index card? That was a good coach answer right there.
She's straight and to the point.
Yeah.
Get her done.
I got a question for Mackenzie. So this is the second year you've actually coached
That didn't make any sense.
a high
did
school
it?
team. What is it, what have you taken out of, I know you've cheered and taught and worked for UCA for a long time. What's the difference? Do you see a major difference? What gratitude do you take out of it, and what challenges do you see?
Well, when doing my UCA summer camps, like in the summer, this is my seventh. This made my 7th year doing it with UCA, And, like, just working with them, like, I could be at a camp for 1 to 3 days. It just kind of depends on what those coaches, purchase or pay for through UCA. But, like, working with, like, a high school team, like, for now 2 years, like, you really just see, like, those connections grow. And, like, you see, like, for example, Kat, she hasn't cheered this long, but she is still giving that leadership role to those juniors or underclassmen. Like, she's putting them under her wing. And I think that's such, like, a rewarding thing to see as a coach, especially, like, freshly new. And, like, yes, I have cheered in college. Yes, I've worked for UCA. But, like, I've not been on this side of it as long as Chris and Amy. So, like, I'm kind of under their wing as well because, like, I'm learning from them. Like, how Amy, like, pinpoints everything on the routine. Like, yes, I could see it, but, like, Amy's going to be like, no, do it again. Like, like, there's just those moments that they notice that, like, I notice it too, but, like, Amy and Chris and Ashley can just, like, pinpoint it, like, differently than I would. So it's great to see, like, how we all do things differently, but, like, yet when we communicate together, like, Amy be like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it again, and it's just all comes together. So I think just overall, just seeing, like, the teamwork between, like, us as coaches and then them, like, respecting me as a new coach coming in, I think it's just, like, a rewarding feeling at the same time. It's a lot different than in the summer because, I know those kids for about 3 days.
Right.
I can learn them how they are, kind of, like, what kind of athlete they are, but, like, they don't grow with me.
Right.
I don't. So, like, I feel like I've grown as a coach a little bit more this year than I did last year because I'm still, like, stepping into this role, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely.
So, girls, let's talk about the gruesome side of cheerleading. What's the worst injury you've ever had in practice, game, somebody fall on you, whatever?
I've had a black eye from getting elbowed in the face one day at practice, so that was fun. She's probably had a lot.
She's probably trying to narrow down which one.
I sprained my ankle really bad because I was, like, tumbling on a spring floor, but I was onto, like, another mat. It was, like, a lift, but there was, like, a cushiony mat, but there was this, like, space, and both my ankles went right in between both of them and went, but only one of them got injured, so.
Definitely me back squatting. I've took a lot of hard falls. Definitely one was Megan Lawson. She loves to just heel and put her butt out, and there she goes on my head, neck, everything. Yeah, that's really about it. The worst one.
I've seen all those injuries at my house. I was like, check, yes, check, yes, check. So, to be a little bit less serious, has there been any different Chris-isms, Amy-isms this year? Shaw-isms, there you go. That has come out this year that you're like, oh, every time they say it, like, oh, here we go again.
I bet Macy's got some good ones.
Oh, I'm sure.
She's got that 24/7.
We're only talking cheer coaches, Macy, okay?
That's right.
Parents, you got to separate it.
She had a parent answer.
Right.
We definitely are pushing harder than last year. I don't know why I feel that way, but they have just pushed and pushed and pushed, and that's why we are where we are now. They definitely have pushed harder, way harder than last year.
Well, I mean, it sounds like from earlier in the show,
but it done us good in the long
your
run.
kids that joined the team kind of surprised you, and maybe you were expectations were lower, and the performance come out of the gate, and you're like, oh, we got more here than what I thought. So.
Absolutely. I think that in itself these girls have been awesome leaders, but you're only a leader if you have followers.
Yeah.
And these girls, right off the bat, we had the conversation. They're like, we can sit back, and they just listen to them. And that's the awesome thing, because they just kind of listen to when Macy and them are given instructions, and they just go up to you, they look up to them. So you can't coach that and make that happen.
Right.
So that's part of what's the mesh of being able to, last year I did when we said, well, gosh, we're going to lose. We're losing over half the team.
Yeah.
Last year we're graduating, but that in itself, this team and the fact that they've come in and kind of just took that role is that we're going to follow this group and we're going to follow these girls and these coaches, and that's why we were able to take off where we left off last year.
That's awesome. Well, before we wrap up, there's one thing that we always do when we have seniors on the show is there potential, where are you going to college? Are you going to cheer in college? Is that a decision? What kind of field are you going to college? What kind of field do you want to work in?
I'm going to start my CNA class in January.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do that right after high school. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to school to be a what's it called? Hold on. A special ed teacher. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to cheer in college. I'm going to try out for Moorhead, but I have to go to a couple clinics for Moorhead first just to see, get a feel. And then I want to become a UCA instructor like Mackenzie, so I just submitted my application recently. And then I want to become a pediatric physician's assistant because I love to work with children, so I'm going to go into a biomed major.
Okay. So the UCA thing, is there one of them assigned to each school that's in the UCA thing? Or?
No, so the Universal Cheerleading Association, we have staff all over the country. So there is different branches or regions. So we're in the Northeast region. Kentucky has been moved a lot. I've been in Midwest, Northeast, South. When I first started, we were in the South. So we have training camp or work week. And that would be, so you have to try out for it. After your first 3 years, you have to try out, and then after your third, you're on. If you want to work, you can work. But about Kentucky staff, it just kind of ranges, especially helps where, Moorhead has a lot of potential athletes who are here during the summer because of training and cheer and practices. So we do get a lot of, Moorhead cheerleaders, but it's mainly just whoever, you don't even have to cheer in college. It's just if you have a spot or a soft spot for cheerleading and you want to continue it, you can just continue to work. You do have to try out, and there's certain materials that you learn, but for example, if I get a camp, I could go from all the way to Ashland, all the way to Memphis. It just kind of depends on where and how far you would like to go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kat, I didn't even
No,
cut
it's
you off, but I
okay.
felt like it was the right transition
Yes.
there. So what about you?
So I'm on the track to get my real estate license around graduation or right after, and then I'm going to go to UK to get my marketing degree.
Okay. Going into the sales force right off the bat.
Yes.
Which parent sells houses?
Oh, my mom.
I was going to say,
Melissa Brown.
that's natural.
Yes.
Look, if you're great with people, sales are natural, right?
Yes.
It's all about the people. It ain't got anything to do with the buying part of it. I sell. I'm a salesman. Have been for a long time.
No.
So.
We haven't figured out why.
And I'm pretty good at it. So.
He's not good with people. We don't understand how it works. But
I'm good at taking their money, though.
So just to recap,
Views and opinions.
right, of Sean Kiper's. So to recap, December 14th is state. It is at Clark County. Not George Rogers Clark. It's at Clark County.
It's in Clark County, yes.
But it's at their school. It'll be that Saturday, correct?
Saturday.
Okay. So everybody that can make it, please buy a ticket and go. It means the world to the girls. It means the world to the coaches. It means the world to the community because the more people that can be there and can be loud, I promise you that's better for this team. That goes, and then February 7th through 9th will be Nationals. So if anybody can go to that, I'm just kidding.
anybody can go there.
But,
Florida
if
is nice
you can,
that time
it
of
is
year.
nice that time of the year. Disney World is wonderful. It is an absolute zoo, but it's fun.
Mickey Waffles.
All paid for by Wesley Kraft.
Oh well, I got about $10 for each person, baby. Um,
we have 9,246 people watching right now. So
Perfect.
we get at least half.
Perfect.
Just $1 a piece, right? Everybody donate us $1.
I do know that these girls and their booster club will be raising money. They've got money. They've got some money, but they're going to be raising a lot more money up until that point. So watch Facebook for Montgomery County Varsity.
We're just so unprofessional.
What are we doing over there,
That
Kelsey?
might
Okay,
be
my
a
work's
first.
calling. I'm supposed to be there at 6:30.
Go.
I'm fine. They can wait.
Kelsey did not tell us she had work.
No, of course not.
No, it's fine. It's
Hey,
fine.
you gonna say you're sick?
Hey, this
We
was
didn't say you're
important.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This is the value that she
You're
puts
only a senior.
on
once,
what
right?
she does.
I don't care about that job. They can.
I mean, I'll
She
call
didn't say that.
I'll call them back. Tell them you're sick. You can't make it.
but
She's on the From Corner to Corner podcast show right now. She can't make it.
We're going to do
that's a good excuse.
like
We can
the
write you an
radio
excuse.
shows.
Well, write her an excuse.
Write her a
100% write her an
parody.
excuse. But they'll be raising a lot of money. So be watching for that on Facebook. I'm sure they're going to have things that's going to be pushed out. So be watching for that. Open your pocketbooks. I promise you it's something good for this team. Always will be. And not only that, but, we do have Core 4. And Bath County cheer girls are going to nationals also. I do want to mention that they are...
Yeah, we can clap for it.
First time in 25 years.
They are running. They have a Facebook page right now. It's the BCHS Cheer online auction.
Is that the cakes?
They've got cakes. They've got gift certificates. They've got tools. They've got a little bit of everything. Go check it out on Facebook and like the page. Go check it out on Facebook. You can just go in and comment with if you want it. If you see something you want, go in, comment with your bid. I promise you that's going to help them out, and be looking for stuff. They've got a spaghetti dinner coming up December the 12th. That's at Sherry's Pizza House. So help them out too, because that's an exciting time for those girls also, and they need your help also.
Are you done? I got one more question for the girls.
By all means.
All right.
Golly.
So y'all are on your way out. You're seniors. What's one piece of advice you would give to young girls wanting to get into the cheer world?
You can definitely start at any time. I mean, I know I was a little bit later getting into it, but if you want to do it, just try out. Maybe you'll make it, and just stick in there with it.
I would say just do it. Like you nothing's gonna happen if you do make the team or don't. Like, it's fun. You'll never know how good you might be, but you might have the potential, and you'll never know it if you don't try it. So just do it.
Definitely just try out. I didn't think I'd ever be a high school cheerleader. I thought I would always be a basketball player. Always go in.
Broken foot changed her past.
Always go in with your head held high. Yeah.
She almost reneged on that, and we talked her out of it.
I almost went back to basketball, but I didn't.
Smart decision.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, one thing. Next week will be live from WinCity Sports Cards with Joe Cherico, the GRC football coach. Sorry.
GRC Bath County football coach.
Yes.
GRC bath coach. That's what he was going to say.
Yeah, dive coach. He just dives into the bathtub instead. So yeah, we're gonna have Joe Cherico on next week. We'll be at WinCity Sports Cards. And then last weekend, we kind of put out the challenge on our Facebook page, like, share, tag, all that good stuff. And so we have got all the names on a nice little board here, and we're going to...
So we had 14 people.
You're going to see it on the video.
I was waiting for the projection.
We had 14 people who followed all the directions, total of 50 entries.
Okay.
Because for every 3 people they shared it with, they got another entry. Ryan Hurt had like
1 million.
30.
Yeah, I saw the comments.
Ryan's doing work. He's doing God's work right there for the podcast is what it is. So, all right. So, are you ready to play the video?
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
No whammies, no whammies,
right,
no
yeah.
whammies, no whammies.
And stop.
And stop.
I thought this was going to be like
I thought it was going
The
to be
Price
real.
is Right.
And stop.
Punch it, and then
There we go. Kristen Ricker.
well,
She
Do we
don't-
know her?
She don't need it.
Kristen Ricker is the winner of the 2 season passes that we will be purchasing for them for the
Menifee
basketball
County.
season.
Menifee County.
Menifee County. Yeah.
that's Brevin's mother.
I wondered if it might have been. I
Yes.
didn't know. Aunt, uncle, cousins. You never know. So, all right. Well,
she
Kristen,
plays
congratulations.
Ryan Hurt's going, are you kidding me?
How did I not win?
Right.
It was random. I hit the stop too soon.
I believe he had 39.
That's bad luck, right there.
39 names tagged. Not 39 entries. He had
All right,
39
well,
names.
we'll ask Kristen. Maybe she'll want us to give them to Ryan. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out and spending some time with us. Hope you don't get in trouble at work.
I'll be all right.
All right, well, guys, there you have it for this week's edition of the From Corner to Corner Coach's Corner presented by WinCity Sports Cards. Remember to help us promote our podcast, our Athletes of the Week and Month programs. We do what we do for our communities, our teams, and our coaches and our students. They deserve it. And remember, we will always root for our favorite teams.
Go Indians.
Go Tribe.
The MoCo Four Horsemen would like to thank you for listening to From Corner to Corner. Be sure to go out and follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. Whatever podcast platform that you listen to us on, be sure to go out and give us a 5-star review. Thanks as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week.